groundwater is India's water lifeline. It has been India's water lifeline for last 4 decades at least. This is in all subsectors, including irrigation, rural drinking, domestic water supply, the urban domestic water supply, and also industrial and commercial water use. On the whole, the groundwater situation is deteriorating pretty fast in large number of areas.
Did you know that 85% of India's villages and small towns depend on groundwater for their drinking and everyday chores? But what is groundwater? Groundwater is essentially fresh water found at a depth of approximately 5 to 20 meters below the ground. It makes 30% of the world's freshwater supply. But India has a real problem when it comes to groundwater. We're simply using too much of it and withdrawing it at a rate that is higher than replenishment. It makes India the most groundwater-stressed region in the world. Globally, irrigation of crops sucks 70% of available fresh water. In drier countries like Chile and Sudan, 90% of fresh water is used to irrigate farmland. And in India, over 50% of all irrigation-linked freshwater withdrawals are from groundwater reserves. Groundwater is primarily recharged in the monsoon months from June to September. But precipitation levels vary substantially, with India's western region receiving less than 600 millimeters of rainfall. And as a result, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Delhi are classified as critical regions having overexploited stages of groundwater extraction, and is the most intensively cultivated region withdrawing high levels of groundwater. But India's northeast states extract the least groundwater, less than 12%.
There is not sufficient electricity access to for large parts of Northeast India, particularly in rural areas. It's still more tribal dominated and traditional farming practices that are followed there, and hence they don't really use that much water. It's a relatively high rainfall area where there are still a very large number of local water systems existing, which provide water for the irrigation to some extent.
So these places are considered non-critical in terms of groundwater depletion. States that extract less than 50% groundwater are also considered safe. These include West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Tripura. But those like Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh, which extract more than 50% of their groundwater, are semi-critical. However, groundwater in India is not uniformly usable either. The semi-arid western region and the coastlines have a high prevalence of groundwater salinity. In addition, a total of 213 districts across 19 states have unhealthy levels of fluoride in groundwater. This may cause fluorosis or discoloration of teeth due to overexposure. So how can we solve the problem of overuse of groundwater?
We have to also regulate groundwater use. The regulation of the groundwater should also be at the aquifer based. And that means it has to happen decentralized way, starting from the watershed village level and then federating up from there. If we empower the people at the village level, at the ward level, to understand what is the groundwater, how does the groundwater regulation should happen, then I think the people will get connected, people will feel connected with the whole issue. They will get empowered to get connected and regulate the groundwater use at the local level. And then they will also protect the groundwater recharge system. They'll possibly enhance them. For example, desilting of the local tanks at the village level and so on, rivers and streams and so on. So this is the way forward, I feel.